second oldest of my mom. My mother has 8 kids, 6 boys, 2 girls. Single parent. My dad, he has 7 kids, and I'm the third youngest on his side. So, have 13 brothers and sisters. Like I said, I grew up in a single family home. A lot of fun, a lot of kids. We always had people at our house, cousins. My mother, she always was taking people in as well. So we had a fun childhood. I used to build, what you would call them, forts in the backyard with fences and boxes, and I was an entrepreneur, all that good stuff. Fun childhood.
So did that kind of inspire your career choice now?
Yeah, just thinking about it, the fact that it's a reality, like that it's real that I did it, yeah. But at the time, I wasn't thinking about it. This is what I wanted to do. I just was doing it because it felt right. It felt cool.
Right. You're in the business of helping people, is that correct?
Correct.
Awesome. So, just looking at your hair, how long have you been natural, or how long have you been growing your dreads out?
8 years. I have 86 dreads. We 8 years in the game. I mean, are we 8 years in the game? Yeah, we 8 years, 6 years. I don't even remember. Do me out. About 6 to 8 years though, somewhere around there. Thank you.
Kind of like San Antonio's signature. You see somebody with dreads like every business you go into, you see someone with some dreads.
Is that what you get? That's what you got from it?
No,
You've been seeing a lot of people with dreads out here?
I have.
Interesting.
I know a lot of people from San Antonio
Right.
with dreads too.
Right.
So
Are their dreads as long as mine?
no, yours is the longest.
Okay, yeah,
Yours
veteran.
is the longest. That's why I asked. I was just like, oh, he's the OG. He started this.
Original.
Yeah.
For real.
So tell me about the community that you grew up in as a child.
So I actually grew up around all of San Antonio. When I graduated high school, I stayed in 18 different homes. My mother liked to move a lot, so been in 3 different high schools and 16 different middle schools and elementary schools. I stayed in the richest part of town, the poorest part of town, the like mid-class part of town. I stayed all around San Antonio, different demographics, everywhere. So. Yeah. But it was cool. My mom always had us in cool areas, like we wasn't never in harm's way, so.
So what high school did you go to?
Warren, John Jay, and I graduated Southwest Dragons.
Mm-hmm. And these are all high schools in San Antonio?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. So, what brings you here? What brought you to come here and tell your story?
I was out networking with Steve, and I believe that we can learn a lot through experience. I've learned a lot through experience, not only of experiences of my own, but hearing experiences of other people. People are pretty good with opening up, talking to me. So just from talking to people, I learned a lot that I'm able to share with other people to help them. And myself, I done been through a lot of experiences, so when I met with Steve, he was telling me about basically having the opportunity to tell an experience of mine that I went through, which I tell it to people anyways, especially young brothers and sisters that's coming up, and I know that they're gonna go through similar trials and tribulations, and we can't do nothing about it. So just letting them hear my story, hoping that they do something different, or understand they can get through it, because somebody else been through it like them.
Talk about it.
So when I was about 16 years old, so Friday was the movies was the spot for us to go to when we was in high school. So I was about 16 years old, I think I was sophomore, early junior, one of them. But we was at the movie theaters, and I was with, like I said, a group of my friends. I had actually came late. And so when I got to the movies, it was a crowd of people, and it's a parking lot across the street from the movie theaters. We was at that parking lot. We pulled up, it was a crowd of people. We get out the car, and they're telling us that it was a fight. Some guys just beat up some guys, because it was Fridays at the movies. It was always fights or something going on, and so that's what they were saying. Something just happened. So cool, no big deal. We're used to it. That's common. That's what we expect, stuff like that. So it's not like, oh, we just want to hear about it. Cool. So heard about what happened, type. So then the police officers, they pull up into the parking lot. Now the story was that it was a fight and the guy got a hole stumped in his head, and we didn't, like I said, that's all I heard, that it was a fight. And so like police pulled up, like 2 police officers pulled in, and then me and a couple of other guys that I was with, we like caught a light jog to the next parking lot over. And when we caught that jog, we been chilling. Now we just chilling, standing, chilling. Not thinking nothing of it. Like I said, it's another day, nonchalant. We here, Friday at the movies. At this point in my life, I'd never been in contact with police officers myself. And so, we just chilling. So now, while we chilling again in this parking lot, the second parking lot, here come another cop car. He's pulling out. When they're pulling in, they're not pulling in with their lights on. They just have their lights off. They cruising. It's a crowd of people, they cruising. So this time when they pull in, again, we catch a light jog. Not a sprint, a light jog. Catch a light jog. This time it's a field, like going to a field and then leads to access road of the highway. So catch the light jog. Now, this time when I catch this light jog, I hear like shackling. So, and I hear one of my friends say, dip. I can cuss in here. I'm not trying to, but it's just, if I want to say, well, I'm saying if I want to say the words that was told to me, or do you just prefer me to say the N word?
Say those words.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay.
Say those words.
Okay. So one of my friends was saying, "Run, nigga, run," and so again, kid, 16 years old, didn't even think twice about it. I just sped up. I'm gone. Now I'm running on access road. Came out one of my shoes, just running, dry. So I get to the bottom of the hill. I hit this corner. It's a Taco Bell. So I turn Taco Bell, and it's another field. So now I go into the field. Then once I get into the field, I stop, because I'm just like, as I'm running, I'm thinking like it's a cop behind me, but then at the same time, I'm like, nah. So I stop in the field. I'm like, why am I running? I ain't even do nothing. Like, so why am I running? So I turn back around, look, and there ain't no cop behind me. So I'm like, I'm tripping. Like, so now I'm just standing in the field, and I hear sirens. And we by a police station. This movie theater that we was at is by a police station. So I look up the hill, and I see squad cars coming. Now these cars got their lights on, like they coming to a major crime. They drifting, it's coming fast. So they coming from everywhere. Now mind you, I'm in the field by myself. It's dark, Friday night, so I'm just in the field. So once I see them coming, I look back and I see now here comes an officer. It's a white officer. He's running full speed. Like I say, this is my first time encountering police. So my mind is like, okay, what do I do? On TV, put your hands up. So I was like, put my hands up, get on my knees. So threw my hands up, got on my knees. Now, I'm in the field. The grass is probably like right here. So once I drop down, I'm like, oh, he can't see me. I don't want to think I'm hiding. Stand back up. So I stand back up. He's still coming full speed. So now he tackled me. Boom. Oh. And he's like, where'd you throw the gun, nigger? Where'd you throw the gun? White cop. He's like, where'd you throw the gun, nigger? Now, I'm comfortable speaking about it now, but like at that time, I was scared because, like I said, this my first time being in trouble like this, and I wasn't even in trouble, but I'm in trouble. Can't nobody see me. You hear the stories all the time about, police beating people, and you see it on the TV and the movies. So it's like, now here I am. I'm in this position. There's nobody can see me. Nobody here to help me, and so I'm scared. And I'm just like, I can still hear myself saying like, I'm a good kid, because he drops his right when I drop on the floor, I instantly throw my hands in my back. So he's putting my hands in cuffs, and he's like, where'd you throw the gun, nigga? Where'd you throw the gun? I was like, I don't have no gun. I guess I'm yelling this. I don't have no gun. I'm a good kid. And so he's just being real aggressive, real rough. My face is in the grass. I remember it's itching, and so then while he's doing this, a cop walks up. The first cop that walks up, he walks and he drops his knee on my head. He was like, "Oh, my bad." And then he gets back. He gets up. He's like, "Where'd you throw the gun, nigga?" I was like, I don't have no gun. I'm a good kid." Next cop comes right behind him, puts his boot on my face, and he's rubbing his boot like this on my face. And I was scared, because it's like, wow, this is really happening. Like, and they don't even know me. I'm just thinking about, there's a lot of thoughts going through my head. I'm just like, I'm somebody's child, like, I'm a good kid. That's all I kept saying was, I'm a good kid. And they was like, you shouldn't have ran, nigga. He picked me up. So then they had one of the cop cars right there in the field. They walked me to the cop car, took my wallet, says like, what school you go to? And I was like, John Jay. They was like, oh, that explains why your dumb nigger ass ran. And so at this point, I'm scared. I don't want to say too much. I'm not saying nothing. I'm just, yes, sir, no, sir, because I'm scared. I'm in cuffs. They just abused me, and nobody was able to help me. And it's like, it's real. Like, hello? It's real. And so, is that Boobas? Yeah. Oh. So they just abused me. So I'm just like, I'm sitting there, and I'm like just panting. And so one of the cops is like, he was like, you play football? I was like, yes, sir. He was like, not anymore. He's like, you just got assault on a police officer, boy. And so I'm not saying nothing back. I'm not arguing back with the man. I'm just hearing him talk. I'm just thinking like, hey, I'm getting in trouble. But I'm really thinking about like what just happened to me. Like that, I'm traumatized from that, because it's like I was really messed up. Like I just could. My man's put his boot in my face and was rubbing it like if you had some gum on your shoe and you trying to get it off the flow. That's my face was the flow. And like I said, kid. And so, yeah, they just basically telling me, like, I'm done playing football. I have assault on a police officer now. I shouldn't have ran. So they took the cop who chased me, he gets in the back seat with me, and then they drive off. So now I'm even more scared, because I'm like, it's my first time in a cop car, my first time in handcuffs. Like, I don't know what's going on. He goes back to the top. So I'm thinking maybe he finna take me. I seen it in the movies where the cop get in the back seat, he beat you up some more, drop you off somewhere. That's thoughts that's going through my head. And so we get back to the top. I see everybody. One of the guys, I still remember him. He had my shoe, and I could laugh about it now, like I said, because I'm comfortable to talk about this, but I still remember one of the guys, he came from New Orleans when Katrina happened, but he had my shoe, like, and everybody was like, boy, you was gone. Like, they yelling through the car, and I could hear them. And that's all they seen was just, you outran that cop, like, boy, P. Hill was dipping. That's all they seen. And me, I'm traumatized and just went through something that I don't wish on nobody. And so, but it's just, it kind of, hurt and upset me too a little bit, because it's like, dang, like they ain't helped me, but they couldn't help me. They kids too. They didn't run after to see what was going on or whatever. But I was just like, it was real. Like, from the time that man tackled me to now, it's just real. Like, I'm just replaying what just happened and trying to see like what's about to happen, because I knew I didn't do nothing. So that's why my mind was just like shocked, like, wow, like what happened? Like what's about to happen now? Does it get worse? Because I didn't do nothing at the end of the day. I hadn't even been at the movies for 30 minutes. So it's just like the unexpected just happened to me. Like, what's next? So now I'm just like trying to be nice, like to the cop, yes sir, no sir. And so he you know, I get in the cop who chased me, I ended up getting in his car, you know, and I yelled out to them to call my mom, you know, so they take me down to the juvenile. We get down to the juvenile, and the white cop who chases me, he still, it's a joke to him. Like, I'm not speaking to him unless he's asking me questions, but, you know, the whole ride down there, I'm watching him, you know, he's typing in, I see like railroad on the computer, so like I said, it was just a nervous ride. I'm panicking, like I said, not knowing what's to come next. But so once we get to the juvenile, I remember there was a black man down at the juvenile detention center, and you know, I got as y'all can see, nice little frame, you know, built like a running back. So when we go in there for the booking in the juvenile, the black man that's in there, he's like, you know, he's just looking, I'm quiet, you know, be quiet. I had plaits in my head, this is before I had dreads. And I'm just standing there. I remember I had a white button-up shirt on. I just got it. I just thought I was fresh. Had some white shoes on. I just got that day too. I was ready to go to the movies that day, and so I was just standing there. And then so the black man was like, he asked, he's like, "What?" He was like, "You play football?" Like, "Yes, sir." He was like, "You're a running back, right?" I was like, "Yes, sir." He was like, "You look fast." And I just was like, "Yes, sir." And he was like, "What you down here for?" And I was like, "I don't know, sir." And then, so the white cop who chased me, he walks in and he's like, he asked, the black man asked him, he's like, "This one with you?" He's like, "Yeah." He was like, "What's his charge?" He was like, "Evading arrest." He was like, "You caught him?" He was like, "You caught him? He looked fast." And the white cop's like, "Well, not that fast." Like, you know, at this point now I feel like I'm safe because it's another black man right here. There's cameras, we in the light. So I feel like I'm safe. So in my head, now it's a rage, like I'm upset about what just happened to me. Like, I'm upset, and then I'm upset even more that this man, he trying to, childish, but I'm upset that this man just told this man that he walked me down, and I know I left him, you know. So say I was 16, so that's what's going through my head. But so yeah, white cop leaves. You know, I'm in there at the black dude. He sits me in. You know, he didn't really. I don't really remember too much of that conversation after that part. I just remember that because the cop tried to play me. So he sat me in the holding cell, if you will, and I'm just sitting there, and it's a mat on the floor. Here I am in jail, and then all I remember is they came. Oh, I hear screams, you know, this is boys and girls in this juvenile, but I remember hearing the people screaming, just extra. You know, they in their own room making noise, you know, cops, ain't nobody paying attention to them. But, you know, just this whole experience is like, this probably started like at 11 o'clock. And so all I remember is my mom coming probably like 1, 2 a.m. I don't remember what time it was, but I remember they came and got me out. And it was like, "Come with us." And so the same black man, he walks me into his office where my mom is at, and I'm traumatized, not even knowing that I'm traumatized. But you know, when I see my mom, it's like I'm tired. At this point, I'm just tired. I'm ready to go home, and it's just like I'm a good kid, so I'm not the trouble. I don't get in trouble, and my mom know this, and I know this. So when I see my mom, all I remember is my mom saying, when we was leaving, I just remember her saying, "I never thought that I would have to come down here for you." And it was like, that's deep, because, you know, it's just like, I ain't do nothing. And I ain't even tell her what happened. That's deep. I don't even know if I told her to this day what happened. That's how deep that get. Because like I said, I was traumatized. And then maybe, I know like a year for sure. Like, I ain't tell nobody. I ain't talk about not my friends, nobody. I ain't even talk about it to nobody because I didn't feel like it was nothing anybody could do. I just had a rage, you know, just had all types of thoughts going through my head about what I'm gonna do to a cop, to hurt a cop just to get away with it. Like, because that's how I felt. Like, they got away with hurting me and I didn't do nothing. Like, just, they was brutal to me and got away with it. And so I just had all types of evil thoughts, and I'm not gonna even get into them thoughts on this camera, but yeah, man, all types of thoughts was going through my head, you know, and plot schemes of how I can get away with hurting the cop, like they got away with hurting me. And so, and I guess time it heals all wounds. That's what healed me. I guess more life just started happening, more experiences start happening to me, and it just started healing the wound to where, you know, now I'm able to speak and talk about it. You know, I have a lot of willpower, and it's like if I could go back again, of course, I wouldn't have ran because I had no reason to run. So it's like, even though that happened to me, it's like, how could I have prevented that from happening? It's just by not running. Because by me running, why are you running? You know, from the cops' perspective, you know, they here serve, protect, they deal with crime all the time. It could have been a setup, anything. I could have had a gun, and supposedly the story to them was that somebody had a gun. So, yeah, I could have prevented that by not running. Not saying that they was right for what they did to me, but like I say, just one of my biggest takeaways from that was just, you know, don't run. If you ain't do nothing, don't run. Just stand your ground, talk, see what's going on. You know, if you're young, sometimes your pride or you trying to be cool, you can't do that because the cops ain't gonna play with you, especially if it's other people around and they feel like you trying to make them look like a sucker or a sissy. You know, they not gonna play with you. Ain't gonna have no sympathy for you either. They don't care whose child you is, because once you're in that jail and you got that jumpsuit on, you just like everybody else. You just an animal. They can't be separated, you know. And cops, it's like they go and get people out the world and they bring them and put them in this cage, and now you like everybody else. No matter what your background is, your reputation, who you are, they don't care. Because you're an animal. Put you in them cuffs, chain you up, take you on that ride. But, yep.
How would you say socially we could have an impact and change? Because you talked about how you could have prevented it, but just your story, first of all, scary, very scary. I'm really sorry. I mean, from what I'm getting, is that there was some sort of intimidation from you running, and by the way you built. I feel like as a black man, with you being so athletic, you know, they have this authority of security for the town, policemen, whatever.
Right.
Law. They have no sense of like, I don't know, it was more, for me, it just sounded like they just needed confirmation for themselves that they had some sort of advantage over you.
Right.
And
it was like bullies. That's what they was. They was bullies. It was like, just to let me know. Like I said, this is what they do. Like the fact that they did it so natural and so nonchalant. Like even the fact that it was multiple cops right there, and I just knew one of the cops was gonna speak up and say something like, stop doing that to this dude. Like, let him, you know what I'm saying? I just knew one of them was gonna speak up and say something to defend me. But the fact that they was all on the same page, like, just was like, wow. You know, and then I felt like they just was trying to bully, like, you know, you ran, you made me work, I had to run after you, so let me show you. Let me hurt you real quick and let you know, boy, like, disrespectful, you know. They felt disrespected that I ran, so they felt they have more power. Let me show you I have more power than you and what I can do to you and get away with it. And your mama can't help you, and your daddy can't help you, your brothers can't help you, your sister can't help you, can't nobody help you. It's just me and you, dude. So, yeah.
how long ago was this?
This was when I was 16. I'm 27 now.
So this was over 11 years ago.
Yep, over a decade.
So how would you say you've grown from this situation?
Pretty much, just like I said, it's just, we gonna get in life, we get in situations that sometimes we just they there. It's not like we purposely put ourselves there, but it's like once them situations present themselves, you just have to be slow before you act and just think. So now I just think, when I see a cop or if it's a commotion and the cops pull up, like I'm real cautious. Like it's because now it's a reality for me. Like who police officers are and what they do and what they can do, what they will do. Like it's a reality. Before that situation, that wasn't real. That wasn't, you hear those stories, but it's like, it's not a real feeling till you feel it, till you feel, like I said, I'm somebody's child, and just like, even me being a person, like I couldn't see myself doing to another human, another child, what they was doing to me. So it's just like, the fact that it happened to me, I don't want that to happen to nobody else. And so it's like, that's why I like to speak and tell my story and what happened and tell both sides. Like, I see the cop side, the cop's point of view, not saying that it was okay what they did to me, but I see my side of, my side of view as well too. And how could I have prevented that situation? And with me saying that, telling the story, this is how I felt, this is what I wanted to do, this is what I did, and now this is how I think about it. This is the end result, how I think about it now, the positive. I didn't dwell on the negative and keep this hatred, of energy built up, hating cops. I let it go. I found the positive in it, and like I say, now I speak, and it's like not to make other, people angry, but I'm speaking so, when you get in your situation, because it's gonna come. Hope that it doesn't, but most of us are going to encounter times with police officers, and sometimes we'll be by ourselves, sometimes we'll be with a group of people. But when that time comes, it's just relax, keep calm, just, because they'll get you.
So probably, so the point of this project is to elaborate on where we could fix it socially.
Okay.
And I see this as a hate crime, even though they probably just chased you because you're running. The end effect, they didn't have to,
Yeah, if I was white,
abuse you.
yeah, if I was white, I wouldn't. I don't feel like that would have happened.
Exactly.
Like, and then the fact that his choice of words was nigger. Like, where you throw the gun, nigger. Like, and they call me a boy. Like that was the racial aspect of it for me, because it just like the choice of words was to let me know, words are powerful. So it's just like them using those choice of words was just like to let me know, like, we got more power than you. And I feel like, stuff like this and just speaking up, like I say, you can learn from other people's experiences, because I feel like that's how we can do it. Like, we can't, if we want to change other people, we have to change ourselves. And so, like me, like I said, I started, after it happened, I had hatred towards all police officers, and then I made a change within myself and looked at it from a bigger scope to now I can tell the story, and hopefully it inspires somebody, because, maybe it's people out there that they done been through similar things and they still hate cops, and they're not even thinking about, I shouldn't have ran. They're stuck on the fact of what happened to them, the racial profiling to them and the injustice that was done to them. They're stuck on that, but it's like you can't be stuck on that, because then you'll live in a dark world. And, what you focus on expands. So.
Well, you've definitely grown from that, I can tell. Businessman savvy, very, Nazi, very intelligent. Who was the first person you told about this?
I don't even remember, to tell you the truth.
When you had to relive the situation, think about like one of the first times you've told the story and reliving the situation. What did that person feel, and how did you feel about finally admitting that that's what? Because you did say that you didn't tell your mom exactly what happened, and you didn't tell your friends. So when you first started telling your story again, like, who were one of the first people?
I don't remember, to be real.
So,
Like, I think it just came out like somebody was trying to tell me something about like the police. Like, they was stuck and firm on something, and I probably was just use that as like, you don't know what I done been through. Like, I think it was something like that. Like, well, this is what happened. You know, this what happened. But again, at the point where I was telling them, I was already
in the story with all the emotions, what emotions were you? Do you
while
feel
I was
when
telling
you,
them. A lot. Like, even right now, like while I'm telling them, it's like I ain't gonna say anger comes, but I don't necessarily want to say a fear. Maybe like a sadness. Like, you know, even like my strength of positivity overpowers it. But it's like, even telling the story right now, it's like there's a sadness in there. Like, just the fact that happened. You know, I have a son now. I got little brothers and sisters, little cousins, little nephews, and it's like, I don't want them to ever have to go through that. But it's like, just the sadness that it happened. It's like it's still there, you know. But yeah, it probably was some anger when I was telling the story too. Not today, but you know, back then.
you said that you will never want that to happen, or you to inflict some sort of abuse on somebody else, or it happening to your kids or your nephews or your brothers and sisters. Where do you find that sort of, because it was a hate crime, so where do you find that love for just humankind? Where does that inspiration come from?
Well, you know, the golden rule says treat others the way you want to be treated. I live by that, so it's just, I believe in karma too. That karma, like me believing in karma, kind of helped me get over it too, because it's just like they'll get theirs. You know, maybe something happened to them. You know, so I think that kind of helped me got over it too. But I love Jesus, and I feel like, you know, I try my best to model after Jesus. You know, he wouldn't have liked them. Like, they made a mistake. They was wrong for doing that. And it's like, even, I mean, they probably, I'd look different from when I was 16, but it just was like, even if they was to see this interview right now, you know, and it's like, you know, when we do stuff like this and it gets out to the world, we never know who eyes it get in front of. You know, this was over a decade ago, but it's like this interview might get in front of them and it might just click like, oh, that was me. And it's like them hearing me speak, it's like now that might give them a different perspective, like to where it could help save their life. Like, they can be changed because it's like I forgave them and I didn't have to. And them hearing me speak about it and how it made me feel by them doing that to me, it's like that could change them. Or even officers that did stuff like that to other people, it's like maybe if they're watching this and they're hearing this and they're hearing me speak, like maybe my voice or my image will help them relate to somebody that they know, that they love, and think like, okay, I gotta make a change. This isn't right. Yeah, I feel like with things like this, with bad stuff like this, I feel like the best way to stop it is people gotta start speaking on it, but not speaking on it from a place of hate, but speaking on it from a place of love. And from speaking on it from that place of love, it's not saying that what was done to you was right, but it's just saying that this was done to me and it hurt me. I wasn't happy about this, but I've grown from this. I'm stronger from this. And I don't want this to happen to you, because I didn't like when it happened to me. I don't want this to happen to nobody. So.
That was beautiful. Do you have any last words, advice?
Start with the end in mind. Start with the end in mind with everything that you do in life, and have a purpose and an understanding for why you're doing things, and just don't be so quick to act. You know, always think worst case scenario, what's the worst thing that could happen, and the best case scenario. Most of us just jump to best case scenario, but you always have to think worst case scenario and play out the options, because I feel like that'll help prevent a lot of problems as well. You know, instead of, it's somebody told me before, he said, you have to humble yourself or life will. And so what I try to do is speak my experiences and other people's experiences that I know, speak life, that's what I'm gonna call it, speak life into other people so that way they can be humbled by these experiences instead of life having to humble them. You know, I don't want nobody else to go through that again.